Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? I did a video using this book, which is the DK Eyewitness Poland tour guide. I did one about 2 or 3 months ago, and you probably didn't watch it because it had lots of audio issues. However, I had a little review of my setup and I fixed said audio issues. Ooh, look at that. Apparently this is Mount Ryse to Czarny Staw in the Tatra Mountains. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do is not completely redo the video again, but I'm going to dip into this book and look at a couple of key sections. I hope you'll enjoy joining me either again without the audio issues or for the first time discovering a little bit about this beautiful country. And I want to get started. Let's go. Ooh, let's read this first. So it says, vampires in Krakow. By the way, if I overpronounce things, mówię trochę po polsku. I speak a little Polish, so I can try and pronounce things correctly. I'm not scared when I see a word with 7 Z's in it. Vampires in Krakow. Delve into the dark nighttime history of Krakow at the Rynek Underground Museum on the main market square, which displays a series of so-called vampire burials. Ooh. The deceased were interred with their hands bound and their decapitated heads set between their feet. Oh my goodness, this might get banned on YouTube. It is assumed that they were buried like this as a measure to stop them rising from the grave in search of blood. More cheerfully though, this is a noted folk group from Śląsk performing an anniversary show. Okay, so I want to look at special, or not special, but places in general. So the first one is Warsaw, in Polish Warszawa, which is the country's capital, and it's here, just to the east of the centre of the country. So if you imagine the centre's here, just there. If you don't know the geography of Poland, then this is the sea, and this is the border with Germany. This is the Czech Republic, Czechia. This is Slovakia. This one is Ukraine. This is Belarus. This at the top here is Lithuania. And this, curiously, is an exclave of Russia. So Poland does actually have a border, a land border, with Russia, albeit this small section here. Okay, so exploring Warsaw, we can see the Vistula River running through Warsaw. The old town and new towns are here, city centres over there, and the royal route is there next to the park. I do love a cobbled street, I have to be honest. The old town, or Stare Miasto, but partially surrounded by medieval walls. I do love a medieval wall as well. Is the oldest district in Warsaw. It was founded at the turn of the 13th and 14th centuries, and its medieval urban layout survives to this day. The market square, with its colourful townhouses and the Cathedral of St. John, is the pride of the area. The new town, Nowe Miasto, which is next to the old town, became a separate urban entity in 1408. Both the old town and the new were almost completely destroyed during the war, and the reconstruction of these districts, including the royal castle, was an undertaking on a scale unprecedented in the whole of Europe. Wow. So this is the royal castle. You can see it in a picture. Well, sorry, a picture here and a drawing here. The castle's reconstructed brick exterior. The royal castle today is a symbol of Polish independence. The elaborately decorated interior of the marble room. It looks like something from Versailles in France, doesn't it? And then this is the Cathedral of St. John. Many famous Poles are buried in here, including the last king of Poland, Stanisław August Poniatowski, and Nobel Prize-winning author Henryk Sienkiewicz. It began as a parish church at the beginning of the 15th century, only acquiring cathedral status in 1798. So the cathedral's crypt is where several distinguished Poles are buried. The spectacular stained glass windows of the cathedral we can see here. Stunning. The Małachowski family tomb, carved in white marble, is based on a design by the Danish sculptor Bertel Thorvaldsen. And here we have the Warsaw mermaid, Syrenka, statue at the centre of the old town market square, illuminated at night. The Barbican and city walls that once protected the city's northern approach. So that's a little snippet of Warsaw. And there's the old town there. There's a different shot of the Barbican. Dusk, look at this picture. Dusk settling over Warsaw's beautiful Płac Zamkowy. Or is it Platz? Sometimes they write the correct letter L and sometimes they don't with a little mark through it. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be a flying sort of trip through Poland in this video. So this is all still Poland. Look at that, the Polin Museum of the History of Polish Jews, housed in a breathtakingly contemporary building. The country's largest Jewish heritage museum covers 1,000 years of history of Polish Jews, from the first settlers in the Middle Ages to the present day. Before World War II, there were around 450,000 Jews living in Warsaw. Not Poland, but actually Warsaw, out of a total city population of more than 1.3 million. Oh my goodness. Warsaw had the second largest Jewish population after that of New York, and was a major centre of Jewish culture. Okay, let's look at that Wilanów Palace. Just south of the city, set in lovely gardens and parklands, stands Wilanów, one of Poland's most important historic buildings. Built as a summer palace, it looks at its best in that season when the masonry glows and the gardens are in full bloom. Okay. So I apologize for skipping. It looks like an elf. Bust from a Bolesław Biegas exhibition in the Museum of Mazovia. Kraków. The earliest mention of Krakow in historical records, how would Americans say Krakow, I think? Yeah, the thing over the O means it's a U sound, so it's Krakow, and this is a V. The earliest mention of Krakow in historical records dates from the middle of the 10th century in literally 1000. It became a bishopric, and around 1038 it assumed the importance of a capital. I didn't know it used to be the capital. The city developed rapidly in the 14th and 15th centuries and acquired numerous Gothic churches and secular buildings that survive to this day. At the beginning of the 16th century, Krakow came under the influence of the Renaissance, and the Wawel royal castle, the cloth hall in the main market square, and many mansions in the city were rebuilt in this style. So here's a little map of Poland again. So Krakow is actually to the south. This is Warsaw. Krakow is in this voivodeship down the bottom here, close to the border-ish with, I believe that's Slovakia. The Vistula River also runs through Krakow, so it must come down from Warsaw all the way through Krakow. The Wawel, the turrets and, I don't know how to say that word, cupolas of the Royal Cathedral. The Wawel, seat of the government since the 11th century. For centuries, the symbol of Poland's national, cultural and spiritual identity, the royal complex of buildings occupying Wawel Hill is revered by Poles. The Vistulanians were the first to build a citadel on this limestone outcrop, with successive dynasties developing and extending the site. The impressive fortifications encircle a number of buildings, among them the magnificent Renaissance Royal Castle and the Gothic Royal Cathedral. Once the site of coronations and royal burials, the Royal Cathedral is regarded by Poles as a spiritual shrine. The Royal Castle, founded beside it, was previously the seat of Poland's royals and remains to this day an enduring symbol of national identity. Climb to the top of Sandomierska, one of 3 towers that form part of the Wawel complex's fortifications, and be rewarded with panoramic views across the whole citadel, the river, and Krakow itself. Did you know in 1796 the castle was converted into barracks for the Austrian army? Krakow's imposing royal castle on a sunny day. The castle's Italianate arcaded inner courtyard. It does look like something from Venice, doesn't it? And the Royal Cathedral. Look at that. Baroque oak stalls lining the chancel leading to the grand high altar. Stunning, isn't it? Legend of the Krakow dragon. According to legend, ancient Krakow was threatened by a cattle-eating dragon that lived in a cave beneath Wawel Hill. It is said that the dragon was slain by King Krakus, who tricked the beast into eating a sulfur-filled sheep skin. Today, visitors can follow a trail of themed dragon statues around the city. As a Welshman, I would be interested in that. I'm less interested in the dragon dying, though. I like it when they live. Schindler's Factory and Mozak is in this city as well, from Schindler's List. I shouldn't say from Schindler's List, came from the story from this. and St. Mary's Basilica. The decorative blue and gold, how pretty is the blue interior of St. Mary's Basilica. The altarpiece of White Stoss is the world's largest Gothic altarpiece. Okay, let's continue. And I wanted to go to one or two more places. See if I can find them easily. It's a nice tour through the mountains there. Poznan. Poznan. Just have a map like I did before. So this, where are we? Poznan. So compared to where we were before, we are now just above, we're in the blue bit. So we've been to Warsaw and Krakow, and now we're here, and in the middle of there is Poznan, or Poznan, in a place called Wielkopolskie. I think Wielkopolska is the name of the whole voivodeship. I think that's what a state is called in Poland, a voivodeship. Which also contains Łódź as well. I think people would pronounce that Lodz, but it's actually a Łódź. Poznan, look at all those lovely coloured houses. This is the personality-filled, multicoloured townhouses in the old market square. Look how small some of the houses are as well. Poznan, the capital of Wielkopolska, and its largest city, has long been historically significant. In the 10th century it was the capital of the emerging Polish state and the seat of the first bishopric in Poland. Today, a thriving commercial centre with major trade fairs, Poznan still has many historical buildings, particularly in the old town with its spectacular town hall. A visit to the late 19th century quarter is also rewarding. So we have the old market square. The old market square, the Stary Rynek, is the bustling heart of the old town, dominated by the Renaissance town hall. It is surrounded by townhouses with colourful facades, whose ground floors are mainly filled by restaurants and bars or cafes, permanently busy from spring to autumn. The square is also a venue for cultural events. Some of the houses in the old market square were destroyed during the battles of Poznan near the end of World War II in 1945, and were rebuilt, but others escaped serious damage. They include Mielżyński Palace, which dates from 1796 to 98, and Czałwiński Palace, both in the neoclassical style. The centerpiece of the old market square is the Baroque Proserpine fountain, 1766, which depicts the abduction of the ancient Roman fertility goddess Proserpine by Pluto, ruler of the underworld. Oh yes, I can pronounce this, I think. Przemysław Castle. Little remains of the original castle, built by Przemysław II in the 1200s. The reconstructed castle that now stands on the site houses the Museum of Applied Art, and its collection spans from the Middle Ages to the present, containing items from religious artifacts to television sets by Polish designers. A lift takes visitors to the tower, which provides a sweeping panorama of the city centre. I have the National Museum here, and the Raciński Library, which has a grand facade of columns which sets it apart from any other building in Poznan. This Zamek, I think, is the word for castle. The city once had a ring of 19th century fortifications, but when this was demolished, the space was used for government buildings. Designed by the German town planner Josef Stüben, these were built in 1903 to 14 and today stand amid gardens, squares and avenues. And this is the cathedral, the impressive double towers of Poznan's Gothic cathedral, and it says here, the gilded interior of the Golden Chapel, home to the tombs of Poland's first kings. And as a bonus, Łódź, this here is the EC1 Science and Technology Centre, which is housed in an old power station. Very cool. Occupying the cavernous halls of pre-World War I power station, the EC1 Science and Technology Centre, or Centrum Nauki I Techniki, has multimedia and hands-on displays relating to life, the universe and everything in between. Oh, I would love to go there. As well as science-related temporary exhibitions, there is also a planetarium, yes please, and a centre devoted to comic strips and animated films. Oh, I want to go now. Łódź. So the L with this mark means a W, and we've U, and this is a J. Łódź. The centre of Polish textile production, like Barcelona in Spain. Łódź developed at an astonishing rate during the Industrial Revolution, as did my city of Swansea, as documented in The Promised Land, 1899, by Nobel Prize-winning author Władysław Reymont. It became a place of great contrasts, with vast wealth existing alongside abject poverty. This contrast is still evident today in Łódź's architecture, factories and, I think, mansions, that's supposed to say, sit beside ramshackle houses of factory workers. Ulica Piotrowska. The city's main thoroughfare is Ulica Piotrowska, Poland's longest pedestrianised street, lined with restaurants, shops, cafes and banks. I thought I was going to say bars, but banks apparently. The section most worth exploring extends from Plac Wolności to Aleje Piłsudskiego. Outside the Hotel Grand at Piotrkowska 72, a line of stars is embedded in the pavement in honour of Andrzej Wajda and other film directors associated with the Łódź Film School. This is the Gniezno Cathedral, which is an imposing Gothic cathedral occupying a special place in the country's history from 1025 to the 14th century. Poland's first royal rulers were crowned here. That's the red brick of the exterior of the cathedral. Okay, Silesia. I just want to check in on Wrocław before we finish. It's on my list of places I really want to visit. So Silesia, or Silesia, is in the south, so it's on the border with Czechia. I've heard that there is actually a different language which is spoken between the borders of Czechia and Silesia. That's different to Czech and Polish, is sort of like an in-betweeny Slavic language. I'd love to learn more about it. So this is Silesia, the voivodeship, and we're going to look at, where are you? Wrocław, which is here in the middle. Look at that beautiful look. The cheery and colourful rooftops of Wrocław's reconstructed old town. This cosmopolitan city bears the stamp of several cultures, founded by a Czech duke in the 10th century. A Polish bishopric was established here in the 19th century. It then became the capital of the Duchy of the Silesian Piasts, before coming under Czech rule in 1335. In 1526, it was incorporated into the Habsburg Empire, and in 1741 was transferred to Prussian rule. Picturesque Wrocław is now a popular cultural hub, hosting several theatres and a lively student population. So we have the Wrocław University, established as an academy by Emperor Leopold I in 1702. The university was granted its current status in 1811. Many of its alumni have gained renown. They include 9 Nobel laureates, among them the nuclear physicist Max Born, who won for physics in 1954. Designed by Tausch, an Italian architect and painter, the centerpiece of this Baroque building is the Aula Leopoldina, the assembly hall of 1728 to 32. It is adorned with frescoes by Christopher Handke and figural sculptures by Franz Josef Mangold. The hall is currently closed for renovation. You can also see, some dwarves apparently. We've seen vampires and elves. Scattered throughout the city, dwarf statuettes represent one of Wrocław's more unusual civic symbols. The city's adoption of the dwarf is largely in tribute to the 1980s anti-communist group Orange Alternative, or in Polish Pomarańczowa Alternatywa, who used a stenciled graffiti image of a dwarf as their symbol. As these statuettes grow in number, their original subversive focus has been replaced by a simple desire to bring cheer to the streets. Images of these folk legends are also now found on souvenirs. We can see the river Odra running through the city. The market square over here. You can see the National Museum, the panorama of Racławice. The panorama, I've been to one of these in the Netherlands, they're very fun, depicts the Battle of Racławice of the 4th of April 1794, when the Poles defeated the Russians. At 114 metres long and 15 metres high, it took artists Jan Styka and Wojciech Kosak 9 months to paint. Unveiled in 1894 in Lviv in Ukraine, it was brought to Poland in 1946 and put on display in Wrocław in 1985. Oh, how beautiful. Although we've got 2 stunning pictures. This one, the awe-inspiring interior of the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist on Ostrów Tumski. And this one, the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist and the Church of the Holy Cross on the river. The bridges of Wrocław. Situated on the river Odra, the city of Wrocław has more than 100 bridges crossing numerous streams, canals and inlets. The oldest is the Piasek Island Bridge, dating from 1845. Each side of the bridge is guarded by a statue, one of Saint Jadwiga and the other of Saint John the Baptist. The best known bridge is Grunwaldzki Suspension Bridge, dating from 1908 to 10, which under German rule was named the Kaiserbrücke. And this is one of the tranquil areas found in the botanical gardens. Well, there we are. I'm going to finish there. I just wanted to pop back into this lovely book and give it a little bit of love after the last video had all that horrible sound in the background. Way more to look at let me know in a comment if you want me to continue, and we can look at more places in this beautiful country that's on my wish list of places to visit. And I've got lots more to do. I think I'm just going to do it in this style and not panic about getting through every single section. I'm just going to pick out bits that I want to look at. And I've got quite a few more to do, and you've told me which ones you want, but coming up I've got Cuba, Netherlands, Korea, Japan, Canada, Central Asia. Lots and lots. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Do like the video if you enjoyed it, and comment if you want me to do a second part focusing on this beautiful place. Of course, click subscribe and check out the playlist for this series. We've done France, Germany, UK, USA, Australia, lots of places already. France and Germany, Italy. And you can also join me on Patreon, where we do extra videos every month, and every single video on this channel you get like up to a week early. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.